But any people, and even more so the Russian people, will always be able to distinguish true patriots from scum and traitors, and simply spit them out like a fly that accidentally flew into the mouth. Spit them out. I'm convinced that such a natural and necessary cleansing of society will only strengthen our country.
Okay, Vladimir Putin speaking last week there gives you a glimpse into his state of mind. Welcome back to Wake Up America. I'm Rob Finnerty with Allison Maloney. The big question now that nobody has the answer to except for Vladimir Putin is how far will he go?
Yeah, this as the U.S. intelligence community steps up efforts to analyze the Russian president's state of mind since the outbreak of the war in Ukraine.
Joining us now to talk more about this is forensic psychiatrist and former CIA intelligence officer Dr. Charles Morgan. Dr. Morgan, great to have you on. You've got a lot of experience analyzing world leaders. What side, where are you on this? Is he a maniac? Is he out of his mind? Or is this all, is this the action of a frustrated guy who knows exactly what he's doing?
Well, I think the rumors of his mental demise are greatly exaggerated, as they say. I think that we're finally seeing the mask coming off of someone who is quite Machiavellian and narcissistic. He's been able to get what he wants for years. He's announced his plans since the 90s to reassemble what he feels was lost from the USSR. And I think now the reaction by the politicians is they've come in full confrontation with him is he's not going to budge. Now he's stubborn and he's saying, I'm going to get what I want and you're not going to stop me. And so then people say he must be losing his mind. He must be crazy. But I don't think he is. I think he's quite shrewd, calculating, and knows exactly what he's doing because he knows the limits that we have right now. He knows sort of the array of arsenal we can bring to bear on him, and it still is limited given the lack of Ukraine's membership in NATO.
Right.
Yeah, Dr. Morgan, so you're saying he's potentially a narcissist and he's used to getting what he wants. The war is not going how he had wanted it to. So for someone like this, what would be his next step, his next move, if maybe he's not happy with how things are going? Does he go all out? I know you haven't, analyzed him per se, but what do you think?
Well, if you've raised toddlers, and we often think of, narcissists, the natural phase of that is the toddler who says no. Most narcissists really only respond to when they're confronted by power or when they feel like they're finally recognized, appreciated, and flattered. I don't see much flattery going on, so I think that he'll back down in the face of a direct confrontation of some sort. Now, it might be that the financial sanctions hit so hard he is just faced with saying, okay, I've got to change course. But my suspicion is that he won't. And opposition to him is either coming from internal or it's going to escalate and we will have to directly confront him. But narcissists usually don't back down.
Today marks day 17. The Moscow Stock Exchange has not opened in almost 4 weeks. I don't know how long the Russian economy can hold out and survive this illegal war. There is obviously an element of propaganda to all of this, but the former Ukrainian president yesterday said that Putin was nothing less than a crazy maniac. Take a listen.
Mm-hmm.
The only way how to stop the brutality in Ukraine is to stop Putin. This is crazy maniac who come here to kill Ukrainian just because he refused us with the right to exist, both Ukraine and Ukrainian.
So again, we know there's an element of propaganda for us, for the Western media, by the way. We take that stuff hook, line, and sinker. But Dr. Morgan, it does seem like we've heard about the physical changes in Vladimir Putin. We had a physician on who said, fine, the guy's tired, his country's at war, but it doesn't happen in 4 weeks. Something seems to be off or different with this guy. Emmanuel Macron, the president of France, said he had a meeting with him and that this was not the same guy he had dealt with just the year before. What do you make of that?
Well, two things. One is it's fine when people say he's crazy. I think we're expressing from our side our frustration with his refusal now to negotiate on our terms. I mean, I think what's really hard for us, and this happened when I was at the CIA for years, any leader we didn't like, they'd call the Sykes and say, what's wrong with him? He must be crazy. When, in fact, they had their own logical agenda. So I think, in popular discourse, when people say he's crazy, I get what they're saying. They're frustrated. He's not behaving in the rational way they expect. I think with respect to his physical status, you really have to look at the long run. I saw somebody's viral video on TikTok about his gait. His gait's the same as it is in videos from 2003. When you watch his speech about Ukraine and U.S. foreign policy, there's no signs of cognitive decline or dementia. There's no tremor going on that we'd look for in Parkinson's. So I personally think that most of this is projecting
Dr. Morgan,
our level of frustration.
just about, sorry to cut you off there, just about 15 seconds, but you said same logical agenda, meaning that, to him, what he's doing could be logical and that could be his agenda. Could that still be insane? Because, Hitler to himself had a logical agenda. All right, it was totally insane, maniacally crazy. Could that be part of it as well?
Oh, correct. We're saying what he wants to do is insane. We don't want him to do it.
Right,
But yeah, I just mean that it's calculating and cold and methodical. It's not
I see.
impulsive and unpredictable. It's quite predictable where he's going.
Okay.
Yeah. Dr. Charles Morgan, we really appreciate your insight. Thank you so much.
Yeah, appreciate it, doctor.